Alright, what's happening guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the sad truth when it comes to dating in big cities such as Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, Brazil. Now, I myself have stayed in Sao Paulo for over 2 weeks at a time, and also stayed in Rio. I think first time was like 6-7 weeks, and I actually went back there for the second time and stayed just over a month with an intention of actually living there. However, at the end of my trip, I decided I don't actually want to stay here anymore, and I decided to go back to Miami. Now, why is Rio and Sao Paulo not the greatest place for guys that are actually looking to date Brazilian women? Let me explain this in this video. We're also going to explain dating in Brazil in general, and I'm also going to give you guys some solutions at the end. Where should you actually go and how to actually have successful dating life in Brazil. Just because you've seen me and I had really good results in both of those places does not mean that you are going to have the same experience. A lot of the guys that do end up traveling there, they message me and they're very frustrated. They're like, bro, I saw that you went over to Rio and you had great results. I came here and I'm really struggling. I'm not getting the same results like I saw in your videos. First of all, guys, dating in both of those places are going to be very challenging and it's not going to be good. I would actually argue that it's worse than most places in America. Like, if you compare dating in Rio to Miami, I mean, I would pick Miami any single day of the year. And Brazil is like this. If you're gonna end up going to Rio or Sao Paulo, which are like two of the biggest cities in Brazil. I mean, Sao Paulo is absolutely huge. Please don't expect amazing dating. You're just simply not going to get that. What you're going to get in Sao Paulo and Rio is a lot better infrastructure, you know, decent-ish nightlife, and you're going to get a decent walk. Let's say, you know, you're running from Leblon all the way to Copacabana. You know, you're going to get amazing views in Rio. You're going to get the mountains, the beach, jiu-jitsu. You can train jiu-jitsu there. These are some of the things that I would travel to Rio for. I would actually avoid Sao Paulo. I wasn't a big fan of it. I met like one decent girl in Sao Paulo, and I also met a girl from Sao Paulo in Rio. She was actually on a holiday. And guys, I will be honest with you, like, the likelihood of you meeting a hot girl in Sao Paulo is like next to none, is very, very little. And all of those guys are like, yeah, I live in Sao Paulo and I have amazing results in Sao Paulo. It's like, bro, first of all, you're not actually getting real 8+ and above. You're getting girls that aren't really that attractive, or you're just simply paying for it. I'm going to get to that later on in the video. But from being in both of those places, I found Rio to have slightly hotter women than Sao Paulo. And I'm also going to give you guys some other places that you can actually go to where actual hot women exist in Brazil. Now, I've mentioned this in my previous video when I compared Colombia to Brazil, and it's so true. Like, you can be walking around in Colombia anywhere. It doesn't matter which city you're going to be in, and you're going to find just tons of beautiful women. The genetics are just amazing. You can be in like the worst shopping mall there is, and you're still going to find like at least one hot girl. It's crazy. And then Brazil, it's not like that. So you could be walking around for like sometimes weeks, guys, and you'll not be able to actually see any hot girls. And then you're going to find like a nice, you know, 8 or 9 just comes out of nowhere. And you also have to know where to go in Brazil to even find them. They're not going to be walking around absolutely everywhere. So that's kind of how I would compare it. Even Miami, guys, if you're walking around, like, you're going to see at least a couple of hot girls throughout the day. So you can actually approach and practice your social skills, and you're going to have a better dating life. And these places, like, you don't even see that many good looking girls. Like, I haven't personally. And even my brother was there and he was like, mate, what the hell is this? So I'm going to get to this later on in the video, guys, because I want to do a full breakdown of Rio during the summer and winter as well, because we went there in both seasons. Massive difference. And Sao Paulo in general doesn't really have any places that I was even interested in. Like, you got the big park and stuff and the, you know, rooftop lounges. I wasn't really into the whole vibe. I haven't seen like any hot girls. I think we bumped into like one decent looking girl probably like week 1, and my friend actually ended up winging me, so he got with her friend. Keep in mind, guys, like, my friend is like 6'4", good looking guy, has charisma, has game, has money, has very good Instagram as well, has status, and like both of us going out, And this is all we do, like all of the time. I do this every single day. And I'm telling you, it's not good. The dating life in Sao Paulo is not good. The nightlife is horrible. Even daytime, I'll be honest, it's like nothing special. So I wouldn't even go to Sao Paulo. If you have to fly through there, you can fly through there. Check out the city if you want to. It's a huge city. But for the specific purpose of dating, I would definitely avoid that place. Now, Rio, it's still worth going to, but you're still going to run into a lot of problems. And it's not going to be better by any means than America. Like any city in America, you'll find way better dating options than you'll find in Rio. And that's just coming from me. I've traveled to over 42 countries, guys, and I don't really benefit from telling you this. I'm telling you this because I'm being honest. Now, here comes a tough pill to swallow. And this is not just Brazil. This is everywhere, by the way. A lot of the really good-looking women, like 8 and above, most of them are going to be working in some type of sex work, pay for play. This isn't just Brazil, guys. This will be happening in Colombia as well, and this will also be happening in Miami. Miami's full of these girls. So this is a problem that we have globally now. I think every single hot girl that is actually, you know, super attractive is going to capitalize on her beauty, and she's going to be working either on OF, or she's going to be on webcam, or she's going to be basically selling herself or doing some type of work that involves money in exchange for these services. And especially Sao Paulo and Rio, guys, it's like I just found so many of these girls that were actually hot that I was matching on Tinder, that I ended up DMing on Instagram and trying to set up a date. A lot of these girls were actually workers, which is a massive waste of time because now I have to message 10 times more girls in order to even get an actual normal girl that is not in that business. And it just makes it a lot harder, especially for the guys that are traveling for real dating, like real romance. They're not there just to pay for a little bit of pussy and then they, you know, move on to the next country. They're just traveling. They don't really have time for dating. That's not me. That's not what this channel is about. You can click off this channel and you can find plenty of other channels that are going to be talking about that. That is never going to be me. And to be honest, guys, why would you even want to do that? It's like you're never going to find an actual girl that you're going to settle down with for the long term. This is just short-term pleasure. You're going to lose money. It's a super dark hole to get into, and a lot of foreigners do actually get into that, especially in Medellin and places like Rio. So be very careful. Now let's talk about Rio, because I feel like Sao Paulo is just not a place I would even want to go to. I think Rio is just way better in every single aspect. So let's stick to Rio mainly for this video. Here are some of the things I don't like. Number one is going to be there is a lot of gay people there. So if you're a good looking guy and you're walking down the street, you're going to be getting checked out all of the time. You're going to be getting catcalled. You know, it's just constant, especially when you're walking around like from Ipanema all the way to like Copacabana. You don't have a t-shirt on, you're gonna get hit on quite a lot. So this is some of the things I didn't really enjoy. And also you got like the massive LGBTQ PS4+++ community going on in Rio. And there are going to be flags of that everywhere. It's absolutely insane. I think in Russia it's actually illegal. So if you like get seen with that flag, you can actually get beaten up. So you got to be very careful. These are some of the things that you're going to run into when you actually come to Rio de Janeiro. Another thing, a lot of women are very masculine. Like I'm going to tell you this one story, guys, when I met this girl in Pedro do Sol. This is a place you go out to on a Monday night. And again, I spend so much time in Rio, guys, so I know exactly where to go out, like where the best clubs are, where the best places are to meet the hot girls. Monday, I went to Pedro do Sol. It gets absolutely busy. And this is in the winter time, winter season. I mean, my brother ended up speaking to these two girls, the hottest girls in that whole area. Anyway, start chatting. We got like one drink in, had a good time. Ended up actually meeting them the next day. We left at like, I believe it was at 1 a.m. They wanted to stay out till like 5, 6 a.m. And this is the thing as well with Brazilians. Like they like to party. They like to stay out till very, very late. And I don't really like to do that. I have a very healthy lifestyle. So if I'm going to go out here and there, I'll have a drink maybe, but I tend not to drink in general. And I usually go to bed at like 1, 2 a.m. I don't like to stay out too long. So we met them up the next day. I ended up bringing my girl back home. And then guess what she does? As soon as she enters my house, she takes her clothes off and she just stays in the bikini. And she looks at me and she's like, oh, is this okay? I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, if you're hot, it's not really that hot. But if you're hot, then that's fine. You know, you can take your clothes off. And then she walks past and she sees my Tiger Muay Thai gloves that I bought in Thailand a couple of years ago. And she's like, oh my God, you do Thai boxing? And I was like, yeah, I train Thai boxing, I train jiu-jitsu. So then she puts them on. She's like, oh, can you do a little bit of sparring? So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do some jab cross. Man, I kid you not. This girl was just like a professional. The way she was standing, the way, you know, her hips were moving, she was doing, like, everything was perfect. And I was like, wow, you're actually pretty good at this. And then she started shadowboxing in my mirror, like actual shadowboxing, like, ass. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, am I supposed to now get excited? How the hell am I gonna get... Like, I'm not used to that at all. Like, I like my girls to be super feminine. I don't really like that kind of vibe. Immediately, I was like, kind of just unattracted. Didn't really want to like chat to the girl anymore. And she's like a professional fucking Thai boxer, man. Like, no offense to the girls that are fighting. If that's your thing, that's your thing. I am sure there are guys out there that absolutely love that. There are guys out there that are like super into that. Me personally, I'm from Poland. So in Poland, girls don't fight. Like, they're very feminine. The same in Russia and all the other countries in Eastern Europe. Girls are super feminine. So even if they like do a little bit of Thai boxing, like, yeah, it's cute, but they're not like professional fighters, all right, where they're actually like fucking going at each other with everything they got. So for me, that's a massive turn off. I was already like, nah, this is not good, man. I don't really like this vibe. And then I started noticing it more and more, especially in the winter season, guys. Like, we're walking around, me and my brother, on the beach, and we're seeing this like two massive henge girls, you know, huge fucking shoulders popping out, like striations in the quads. I was just looking at that and we're both kind of laughing. We're like, mate, this is not the vibe that we're used to. And Colombia is not like this, by the way. Colombia is not like this. So I think it's just the culture. And even when I took my brother out on Sunday, I think we went to Bosque, it's like really henge girl on steroids comes up like, hey, how are you doing? Give me your number. Where you from? And like proper like getting on him, like in a way where I was like, wow, like, is this a man? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, there's not a lot of places that you will see those sort of girls, especially in Latin America. Argentina will not have that. Mexico will not have that. Colombia will not have that. Even Peru, you won't have that. So I think Brazil is like the only country where the girls are like actually super masculine. Now, the girls that you see me with obviously are feminine. And with Brazilian girls in general, you can find anything you want, guys. You can actually find feminine women. I'm not saying all Brazilian women are like that. But the majority that like we were seeing on the beach, especially in the winter, when we're going out, is like they're just super masculine. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So I wasn't a big fan of that. That's one thing I just didn't really like about Brazil. So yeah, what my brother actually ended up doing is he actually flew his Colombian girl out to Rio because he was like, man, I don't even want to date these girls. Like, I'm not even interested. I was pretty lucky because I was there in the summertime, and in summertime, Rio is way better. There was a lot more hot girls. There's a lot more like travelers as well. So girls from other countries, and you're also going to get a lot of Brazilian girls from places like Florianopolis. There was this one girl I met from Fortaleza, which is actually up north of Brazil. She was really beautiful as well. So I was dating her already. So when I came back, I already had like a couple of girls I was seeing. And then on top of that, I ended up meeting this one girl that was like, you know, she was young, super low body count, just naturally beautiful and also very intelligent. So I was pretty lucky. But again, that's like a one-off. And I'm being 100% honest with you guys. It's not going to be an easy dating market at all. Like, Brazil is actually very difficult. I would argue that Brazil is probably way more difficult than it is in America. Anywhere in America, for that matter, like, it's super easy. They dig the accent. I don't really struggle. The same in the UK. And it's very funny to me because every guy is out there like, yeah, Brazil's super easy, bro. When I go there, I'm a gringo. So you got the fucking effect where, you know, you have the blue eyes and all of this. It's like, no, bro, that's not the case. You're still going to have to actually have game and have something going for yourself. Because in general, guys, Brazil has everything. So if you think you're super special as a gringo, you're really not. Like, Brazil has absolutely everything. Blue eyes, green eyes, blonde guys, brunette. Guys are like 6'5". A lot of them are good looking with cash as well. So they don't really need, like, these girls have a lot of options. They don't need to date some gringo that doesn't even speak Portuguese. So don't expect that you're going to get super amazing results when you actually come to Brazil, because it's actually going to be very difficult. Someone actually sent me this, like, one guy's Instagram, and this guy doesn't really show the girls that he's with, and apparently he was like, yeah, Brazil is the best, you know, the fucking results in Brazil are way better, like, all these girls are super hot. Now I finally found this girl that I've been dating for like a couple of months. She's like a rocket, blah 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 blah, you know, over in the West I could never get that, the dating sucks over there. And then one day he actually posted a video from the back of the girl. So it didn't show her face, but showed the back of her. And I was like, what the hell? This guy's calling this girl a 9 out of 10. And the chick looked like a 4. And this is the problem with a lot of these guys. Even if they have loads of followers on social media, they don't even show the girls because they're very afraid of what people might say in the comments. And they know that it's not true. The girl is not actually attractive. So when it comes to Rio de Janeiro, definitely check it out in the summertime, guys. It's also good to go there in New Year's Eve and during the carnival. These are the 3 best times to actually go and visit this place. Now, definitely go check out Rio because it's a beautiful city and you're gonna have an amazing time. I think every single person that travels to Brazil pretty much goes to Sao Paulo or Rio. No one really goes to like Fortaleza or, you know, anywhere else for that matter up north, especially because of the simple fact that the infrastructure is going to be horrible and also is going to be a lot more dangerous probably when you go to those places, whereas, you know, when you stay more down south like Florianopolis is going to be super safe. That's another thing I need to talk about, guys, is robberies and drugging. I actually seen this clip not long ago. Let me play this because it is really sad, of this British guy being robbed in Rio de Janeiro near the Ipanema beach. Let's have a watch.
A British tourist collapsed on Rio's Ipanema beach after drinking a cocktail allegedly laced with drugs. Police say 3 women targeted the man to steal from him, swiping over £16,000 and his phone. The suspects, all known as sex workers, were caught on video running away from the scene before jumping into a taxi. The victim woke up in hospital to find his account emptied. Brazil's tourism police have urged visitors to avoid sharing drinks with strangers.
Guys, I'm not even surprised by this. Like, I have heard actually someone that I know of, he ended up going there. He went out to, I think it was Bar Bukowski on a Thursday night, which is actually the place to go to on a Thursday. And these 2 girls that he was chatting to were like giving him all of this attention and blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, they all like start to make out with each other. And then he got kind of like just lost in the sauce, I guess. He was making out with this one girl, and a second girl, when he wasn't watching, put some in the drink. Took him home, cleared out his whole bank account. They took his crypto. They nearly killed him because some of these drugs that they're putting in, they're like really strong, guys. He passed out. He woke up the next day and they took absolutely everything from him. Absolutely everything. Like, I think all he had left was like some shorts or something, and that's it. So he was absolutely cleaned out, and it's like, man, this could have been so easily avoided. Like, I've traveled to South America for like over a year, man, and I've never had a single case of robbery or drugging. Now, my brother actually got his phone snatched when he was in the taxi. So he had his phone out like that, and he was in one of the Ubers actually going back from Leblon all the way to, where do you live? To Juca. And in Leblon, guys, which is like the most, like the safest place in Rio, the safest place, the most expensive place in Rio, and some skinny rats went through the window. And that's another thing, guys, that you have to do when you get in the Ubers. You have to like close the windows or maybe leave like a small little gap. So he had like a larger gap, and he went through with his hand, snatched out the phone, and then just left. And what's really funny about this, guys, is that he had a second phone. So what he did is he called me up. He was like, bro, fucking get down here. I've just been robbed. We need to get this guy. So I come down, we get in the Uber, all right? And then we try to follow him with like the Find My iPhone stuff. So he goes straight to the favela, all right? Straight to the favela. Ben is like, fuck this. I'm going into the favela. I don't give a fuck. And the taxi driver was like, I can't take you there, guys, because it's too dangerous, blah, blah. But what we can do is we can go to the police station, and then, you know, maybe there will be something that can be done. So we're thinking, yeah, that's it. We lost the phone. We're not getting it back. And to be honest, we don't care about the money. We just care about the actual information that's on the phone. Like all of the details, you know, we have all the social media and everything on there. So anyway, we go to the police station, and the guy is actually really sound. So he takes our phone that has the Find My iPhone app on it, and he comes out with a bulletproof vest and a machine gun, and it takes his body, and they literally go in there to the favela, and guess what? They ended up actually getting the phone back, which is crazy. Fair play to Brazilian police. They were absolutely amazing. That would never happen in Colombia. Colombian police is going to be very corrupt. They'll probably end up robbing your ass. And that would never also happen in America or anywhere in the UK. They don't care about your phone. fill out a little piece of paper, and maybe we'll find it. It's gone. All right, so Brazil, thumbs up for that. We're definitely surprised that they actually got the phone back. And to be honest, the guys were like really nice. And the fact that we could trust them was amazing. Guys, I absolutely love Brazil as a country. I also love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And if you go there for that, you're going to have an amazing experience. Like, it's going to be some of the best lessons you're going to get. But yeah, if you're coming for that and you want to just like see Rio, I think you're going to have an amazing time. Another thing I need to mention, guys, is that Brazil is very expensive. So a lot of you guys think like, oh yeah, Brazil is a third world country, it should be cheap. It's actually very expensive. Like, my brother was paying, I think, over £2,000 a month to live in Barra da Tijuca. It was a 1-bedroom apartment, nothing special, kind of small, to be honest. And to pay $2,000 for that, it's like, what the hell, man? Like, in Miami, you're probably gonna pay like just over $3,000, and you're gonna get a place that is way better than that. So you're paying very high prices. You know, you can't really get yourself a bike or a vehicle because, you know, the likelihood of getting robbed is obviously going to be a lot higher. So you're kind of stuck with Ubers most of the time. It just gets very boring and old fast. So these are some of the things that you have to really keep in mind before you actually come to Brazil. Now, what is the solution? Because we talked about all of these different points, you know, the negatives to Brazil and the positives. What is the actual solution when it comes to dating in Brazil? In my opinion, what I would do if I was to go back to Brazil again is I would probably go to Rio for like a couple of days. It's very good for vlogging, it's good for what I do. And then later on, what I would do is I would probably spend majority of my time in the Florianopolis, and maybe I'll go up north to Fortaleza, because I have met girls from those cities telling me that the place is actually really good, they like it. The only thing about Fortaleza, I've heard that it was just underdeveloped, there's not much going on, there's not much there. But the whole fact that I actually met girls from there that were super hot, I was like, okay, well, clearly there are going to be a lot more hotter women when I actually go up there. Now, I'm not interested in going to like mainland of Brazil, you know, where there's no beach. I like the beach. I have to have beach and a sea pretty much everywhere I go because I just go crazy. I've always lived near the sea, like even in Poland and England, I was always near the sea. I had to have the beach. So that's number one requirement for me. But as far as the solution, what do you actually do? How do you actually date the really beautiful women? Well, first of all, guys, you have to know where to go out in Rio if you're going to go out there. Second option is going to places that are less competitive and they're going to have better dating markets, and also hotter women that are actually willing to date a gringo as well. That's another thing you're going to run into when you meet a lot of the girls in Rio. You're going to have to filter out all of the girls that are basically working and they see you as a gringo that is only coming through the city. You don't live here. You don't actually speak Portuguese. They're not interested in dating you long term. They just want to take your money and give something else in return. And what you want to do is become an attractive guy. Yes, I said it. It's going to be a lot harder for you to get a hot girl in Brazil than it is going to be in Colombia. And this is the thing that a lot of guys struggle with. Like, they go to Medellin, they have like pretty decent results. And then they come to Rio, they're like, oh shit, like it's not like that. A lot of the girls here are not really interested in dating me. It's a lot harder. I can't really get by with just speaking Spanish. I have to actually learn some Portuguese. It's not going to be easy. So what do you do? Well, definitely get into looks maxing, get your skincare on point. Maybe get a hair transplant if you need to, you know, take care of your hair, have a good haircut. Get yourself in shape. Like, if you're not already in shape, get yourself in shape. Get a six-pack, especially when you're in Rio de Janeiro, guys. I mean, there's so many guys that are in shape. You want to actually stand out. Like, I was on a date with this one girl and she was like, yeah, like, you know, you think you're special because you're in shape. She was like, you're not special. And she was joking, but she wasn't really joking. I did see loads of guys are like, you know, over 6 feet tall, with six packs and good physiques, and they're tan as well. And, you know, blue eyes or green eyes is nothing special in Brazil. Again, you know, there's so many good looking guys. And also with women, it's like they have every single race. They have, you know, black girls, they have white girls, they have tan. It's like so many different combinations. Brazil is not just like one type of people. Like, there's just so many different races. And lastly, guys, become confident. You're going to have to be doing most of the approaching in Brazil. There's not going to be a case where, you know, chicks are going to be coming up to you, except if you're really good looking and you stand out. Most of the time, you're not going to get that. And realize that in Brazil, it's like very common and natural to just be like making out with a girl. Let's say for a night out, it wouldn't be strange for me to go out, let's say to Bosque on a Sunday night and make out with like 4 or 5 girls throughout the night and then go home with one girl. Okay, very normal. And it's very funny actually, because I remember this like all the time, but I will speak to this one girl, I'll grab a number, I'll go over to like the bar to say hi to my friend, and then she goes back to her friend group, and then like 45 minutes later, I'm, with some other girl, I'm speaking to her, and I see like across the club, and I'm like, wow, she's already making out with some other dude. So that's just their culture, they're very open like that. And that's something that I kind of had to get used to, because if you're speaking to someone in Poland and let's say you're getting on, like you're making out and all of this, it's like you're probably going to go home together. You're probably not going to be making out with another girl in the next couple of minutes. And that's just like cultural differences, I guess. But this is how you actually get success in Brazil when you go out. So when I was in Rio, that's exactly what I would do. I would go out, I would speak to the whole club. So everybody, okay, guys, girls, collect some numbers. You have to be very social, you have to be confident. And what I would do is I would exchange my Instagram. This is so key. A lot of guys don't do this. I always grab the Instagram and I grab the number. Most of the time, guys, it's actually better to get Instagram of the girl than to get the number. Why do I say this? It's simple, because I get the fact that when you actually get a number, it's a lot more personal. Not a lot of people will have her number. Let's say if she got like loads of followers on Instagram. But what you do is you grab the Instagram, because you can actually show your lifestyle, and you're immediately going to become someone a lot more attractive, because all you can see on WhatsApp, for example, when she gets your number, is just your profile picture. That's it. So if you in that moment didn't have top level game, you weren't very charismatic, you weren't super confident, you didn't really talk very long because she was busy and you were busy, Instagram is like a cure to all of this, because she gets home, or later on the night, she sees your Instagram, she scrolls through, now all of a sudden she sees really cool pictures in high status places like a mansion, or maybe you're in a 5-star restaurant, or you're somewhere on a holiday, or you're hanging out with really cool people, or you're dressed really well and you're perceived as high status. All of a sudden, she's like, oh wow, this guy is so much more attractive. So maybe even though she didn't have attraction in the beginning, now she's getting a lot more attracted because you actually have a high status social media profile. Again, you can check out a video down here, I'll link it, and you can watch the full guide on how to actually meet girls on Instagram and how to actually build a social media profile the right way. So it's not really going to matter that much where you are. You could be on the beach where it's really busy during the summertime. You will see beautiful women in the summertime. In winter, not so much. Don't get too excited because they all leave. I personally haven't seen many, like pretty much none on the beach, which is crazy, guys, how the place can be like so amazing and then it can become absolute shit. Like just because of the seasons, and just girls don't go out. They don't want to be outside. But yeah, in Rio, you're pretty much going to be meeting girls on nights out, on the beach, or even like on the sidewalk, when you're just walking home or whatever. Pretty much all the way from Leblon to Copacabana, there's going to be girls walking around. Again, avoid going there in the winter, guys. You're not going to have a good time. You're going to hate it. And when you meet them, what I suggest you do is you give out your Instagram and then also grab the WhatsApp. But definitely give out the Instagram, because it's going to help you tremendously. You can also meet girls on Instagram directly in Rio de Janeiro. So that is a second way you can meet girls. Again, be very careful with robberies, guys, and getting drugged. Tinder, I think it's a lot less common to get drugged in Rio. I think you're more likely to get robbed in Rio. There's a lot of robberies. Personally, I'll be a lot more concerned with robberies in Rio than actually getting drugged. Again, you're going to have to be on the lookout all of the time. Don't get too comfortable. You think like, oh yeah, Brazil is going to be... It's not safe, guys. It's definitely not safe. And to be honest, guys, Brazil, Colombia, and even Venezuela, probably 3 of the most dangerous places in South America, if you ask me. So anywhere else you go, like, Argentina or Peru, I felt like super safe there, even though people were telling me like, oh, you might get robbed here, like be very careful. But yeah, guys, you just have to be very careful when you come to South America. But these are some of my tips when it comes to dating in Brazil. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to give as much value as I possibly could. If you have any questions, comment them down below. If you made it to the end, give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, guys, and click that bell to be notified every single time I post a new video. Full dating program is linked down below, A to Z, everything you need to know, daytime, nighttime, Tinder, Hinge, Instagram game, everything is included in there. You also get added to a WhatsApp group. And in the future, guys, I'm actually going to be closing this down. So if you do actually purchase this program, you're going to get added to my school community when it becomes live, and you're going to have lifetime access. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one. Peace.